All right, so I'd say maybe 2.5, 3 months ago, I was on a meth binge for I think it was like 4 or 5 days, and I died. I had I don't know if it was more or less an overdose or a drug interaction, I'd say, but so after being up for so long, you just want to go to sleep, and I took a Xanax thinking it would knock me out. Didn't do nothing. Then after that, I took a couple Percocet thinking that would help. Didn't do nothing. I smoked some weed, sat around, waited for whatever, thinking that maybe the mix of the two would put me out, that plus the weed. No. All of a sudden, I start sweating like crazy. Pouring sweat, and then my stomach starts churning, and I start feeling dizzy and like flushed, and oh my god. I knew it. I knew I was overdosing, and I got up, and I was like, swaying. Made it to the door, and I went out to try to hopefully get someone's attention. And I don't live very far from my mom's or my nearest neighbor. And anyways, as I step out on the porch, I must have collapsed. Boom. But I don't even remember that. It's like all of a sudden I was in a whole nother world. Like I knew I was somewhere else, and it just felt so different because I felt so like new, like I did when I was a young man. And I remember I didn't even have any tattoos on my arms or nothing like that. I was fresh, and I had no worries, I had no cares or nothing. And I look around and I see like this hollowed out tree, this great big fucking tree with like an infrastructure of like tunnels going everywhere. And in the middle of this tree, there's like a wood stove kind of deal, but it had like a fire in it. But I remember the fire was like real fucking clean. There was no smoke, no soot, no whatever. And I look over, and then I see these like 3 or 4 doctor-looking things, but they're short, like little dwarves or something. And they had on kind of like scrubs and lab coat-looking things. And I remember one of them was a chick, and she had like long blonde hair, feminine features. And then I look at him and I said, "Why the fuck do you Keebler-looking fucking elves have a fucking fire burning in the middle of this goddamn tree? You're trying to burn us out or something?" And then they just laugh. To them it was like, get a load of this guy. Like, what the fuck's he think he is, right? And I remember it was weird because I knew they looked different, but it was like normal there. And they're just laughing at me, maybe because I look different to them. But anyways, I said, "Why doesn't somebody give me some fucking answers?" And then I look over and I see a porthole, the windows in the hull of a ship. And I go up to that and I look out and I see what, it was my fucking body laying down there by my wood pile, by the side of my porch, by my house. Me laying there all twisted and contorted and shit, like dead. My fucking dead body laying there. And I'm like, huh. I remember thinking like, at least it's over. That's it, I guess. And those things were kind of like laughing at me. And then I looked at him and then I said, "Why don't you guys give me some fucking answers?" And I remember telling us, "You're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly." And I stopped at the chick and I said, "You're actually kind of cute." And then I said, "Why don't you give me some fucking answers?" And it's like they came up and then she put her hands on me, but when she did, it was like that scene from The Matrix when they plug them in. It's like, you know what I mean? And like I was plugged into all this knowledge, and it just kind of took me, boom. And it was like she was talking to me inside my head, but it wasn't it wasn't her voice, it was my voice. It's weird. And she told me that I was going to be sent back here, and then told me everything that was going to happen, that I'd be found. My mom will come and ask if I need help, and to tell them to call an ambulance. And then when the ambulance comes, that my blood pressure will be so low that they won't be able to get an IV into my arm. But don't worry, they will eventually, and I'll be fine. They said that I'd vomit in the ambulance, but don't feel bad, and I'll try to clean it up, and they'll laugh at me. And then she also said not to mention the fact that I feel like I'm drunk in the hospital, otherwise I will be kind of like stereotyped, like the drunken Indian, whatever. And so I did. You know, I came back, and then just like she said, my mom came. I woke up and I'm like, help, help, and telling people to call 911. And then my mom comes out, and she must have heard me, and I don't know if my neighbors heard me, but anyways, my mom comes out, and then I told her, I said, I must have got some bad shit, call 911 fast, and so she did. And then same thing, exactly what they said was going to happen. I got into the ambulance, and then my blood pressure was so fucking low. I think it was like at 60 and dropping fast, 40, and it was like, you know, way the fuck down. But eventually it started coming back up, and then they were able to get the IV in, and then that really, you know, kind of snapped me back into whatever. And I vomited, and I tried to clean it up, and the guy was laughing at the fact that I was like, no, don't worry about it, you know. I get to the hospital, and I made a joke because there was this nurse there, and she was kind of good looking, and kind of break the ice. I said something like to the effect of that when your blood pressure gets that low, it feels like you're drunk. And she rolls her eyes, and she said, "Oh, does it now?" Like it's something to the effect of, "I guess you would know." I was like, "Fucking bitch," just you know. And anyways, everything that these whatever they were on the other side told me was going to happen, happened. And since this happened, I never fucked with that crystal meth ever since then. Like, I mean, it was scary, and it was like an eye opener. But I remember there was nothing. It was like nothing could hurt me. There is definitely an afterlife, and I don't know if you guys would say so, but I'd say I fucking died. If my blood pressure was at 60 and dropping when I was up and walking around, imagine what it was when I was, you know. And, you know, it just gave me a whole new appreciation for everything. And if this wasn't a near-death experience or the afterlife or whatever it was, opened my eyes, and I view the world completely fucking differently now. You know, there is an afterlife. I can't say that religion is what everybody says it is, you know, but there definitely is something. And life is powerful. The afterlife is powerful. Life is a gift. You know, stay off that fucking them drugs, and if you are using them, be careful.